Welcome back, guys. We are here for round 4. Sadly, we are currently 1 and 2, so we're looking to get a couple wins in the next 2 rounds. That would be nice, but at the very least, we can learn something a little bit from our gameplay here. I'll evaluate at the end how I feel about the Fierce Empaths and the sideward bullets and the changes and the lack of counterspells and all of that stuff. If you're interested in more details about those choices and everything about the deck list, go check out Match 1. That's where I cover all that in detail. But for now, we're just going to jump straight into the match. All right, you're good to go. My computer's being a little slow here, so hopefully we don't experience any technical difficulties, but it is a possibility. All right, we made it into the match, so that's good. Our opponent's name is Snipers or Bums. I don't know, man. When I play those types of video games, I like to just sit in the corner and snipe. Maybe I'm a bum, but I don't know how I feel about all that. We definitely want to keep this hand. We've got a Titan. We've got a way to cast it quite quickly. So, unless we're running into discard spells here, we look pretty rolled up. Last time I kept a hand like this, I just played against an opponent who cast turn 1 Inquisition or something and took one of my amulets. Which admittedly is not the worst thing in the world, because this hand is still perfectly keepable with just the 1 amulet, but it definitely does things that are a little more unfair if there's a second amulet in play. If only this was an untapped green source. Oh, man, we're getting Force of Negation, huh? It's not going to work out that particularly well for our opponent, considering we do have a second amulet. Although, we can't really capitalize on this right now. I feel like we're probably playing against another Bant control deck, which is a little bit of bad news. But anyways, we might be jamming the second amulet into Mana Leak. Well, we're jamming an amulet, and that's for sure. Well, we're jamming an amulet, and that's for sure. I said amulet, and I meant it. Let's see. Do we want to put out this explosives on 2 to preempt, say, Ice Fang Coatl? I think we do. Sure. I am game for it. We'll just pick the growth chamber back up here. I'm just banking on them having Ice Fang Coatl. That's what this engineered explosives is for. No, Field of Ruin is quite bad news. Quite bad news. I don't really want to run out the Valakut either, because the Field of Ruin invalidates our plan if Valakut is our plan. That said, we can Summoner's Pact for a Dryad and play it, even if they Field of Ruin the Simic Growth. So I think I'm going to lead this out and force them to use the field. Oh, they didn't use it. Interesting. Huh, what does that mean? So we can pick up a Garenbrig and replay Garenbrig, and then pack for Dryad and still play the Valakut, and then they have to choose between cutting us off of Titan mana or cutting us off of Dryad shenanigans with the Valakut. So I'm not really sure. I really expected them to use this Field of Ruin here. So it's kind of an awkward position. I think that it's going to be best to pick up a Garenbrig here, though, because there's no way we can stop them from preventing us from getting our value out of this Simic Growth Chamber, so. Or they can just let us float the 3 mana and the 2 mana and then Field of Ruin it. I guess they came to the same conclusion that I came to, which was they probably should have used their field in the first place. Unfortunately, there's no way for us. Oh wait, no, we can cast a Titan this turn because of that mistake. If the Titan does not resolve... Oh no, we don't have to cast the Summoner's Pact either. Yeah, this is just great all around. Yeah, that Field of Ruin mistake really cost our opponent. We don't even have to be careful about playing around anything. They don't have path mana up. Of course, my Magic Online is being just a tiny bit buggy. Oh no, this is not the time, Magic Online. Oh, okay. That's fine. That's fine, Magic Online. Concede lag is fine with me. I was starting to get concerned. Yeah, that was definitely a sequence of odd plays from our opponent there that cost them very heavily. Don't expect that to happen very often. We definitely want all the Beast Withins. To be honest, this is a matchup where I might even bring in a 4th Beast Within if I had it. I think we're gonna need Baloths, perhaps. So what we experienced last time is that they just put a couple of Ice Fangs on the battlefield, and then threats like Baloth and Tireless Tracker, even Tireless Tracker, despite the fact that he draws cards, they become a lot less powerful. For that reason, I'm going to bring in Explosives, the second one. I don't know if we want Baloth or not, though. That's something that I'm just now recently trying to figure out. Usually extra threats would be good in a case like this, but I mean, maybe it's better to play for a longer game and trim on Grazers, which I was not doing before, and instead have Baloths to draw into naturally. Empaths seem great. Azusa seems alright. Stirrings, I'm not super in love with. We are heavy on 3s, are we not? Let's see what else. We can cut a Garenbrig, I suppose. And maybe Radiant Fountain. I don't see Radiant Fountain making a huge impact against them. And we would have to cut one more. It could be 1 Amulet. Seems like craziness after the last game we just played, but Amulet usually is not that particularly important. Alright, yeah, we'll submit like this. It would be pretty funny to bring in Elder Scale Worm and beat them down with it, but remember when I was saying the Amulet is not super important? This hand has many different ways it can go, but I think it's definitely a keep. It's got a Titan, it's got double Amulet, so if we happen to find a bounce land, it's going to be quite good. Got an Explorer to dig a little further and get a little bit of ramping done. So, seems fine to me. I want to get this Fierce Empath out as literally as fast as possible. So, here's an Amulet. You can force it if you want. And they don't. Now what? This Bog is good, but I definitely want to hold on to it for a little bit. I think the play is going to be Amulet, because if they counter it, we don't care. And then... no, because we don't have any green sources that enter tap. So, like, my thinking was play Amulet, and then play a tap land and untap it twice if the Amulet resolves, and then go for an Explorer. But since we don't have that line to our disposal, I think it's just going to be Tolari West. And I don't know whether I want to play out this Explorer here or not, because I really don't want them to counter it. I'd rather them counter the second Amulet. So I'm going to go ahead and play second Amulet, and then they can counter that if they want. It's of no consequence to me. Although I guess if we explored here and they countered it, then that would mean our Fierce Empath is good. But if they just untap and slam an Ashiok, then that punishes our Fierce Empath pretty strong anyways, and going for that line would just leave us with literal nothing, so... And they did, in fact, have the Mana Leak. I wonder if their list is high on Mana Leaks, because they had the turn 2 Mana Leak in Game 1 as well. There's Ashiok. They hit one of our 2 Vesuvas and our Cavernous Souls. Otherwise, I'm not that worried about it. We can actually play Explosives on 3 here. And I think that is gonna be the play. They have enough of a graveyard that I guess bogging them makes some amount of sense. If they 3 fairy bounce our Engineer Explosives, I'm going to be a little annoyed, but we can't really play around that at all, so... We could also just slam our Fierce Empath here, just as a clock, but I'm definitely not interested in that, because we need this guy to find something good. Be it a Titan, or what our opponent doesn't know about, a Carnage Tyrant. Oh, this time they milled themselves. Thank goodness. Ashiok milling us is not usually the best plan. Like, you get lucky if you hit some, like, random important one-ofs, but usually it's better to mill yourself because of Mystic Sanctuary and things along that vein. Huh, we can not... Oh, wait, we can blow up Engineer Explosives and transmute Tolari West this turn. We would not be able to get Cavern. Interesting. I think the play is going to be... Well, I mean, if I play the Growth Chamber, they'll probably just field it, and I don't think they'll make the same mistake they made last time. So maybe I'm just playing Garenbrig and Explore, and then passing, whether they counter the Explorer or not. I don't think it matters what lands I tap here. And then we'll blow the EE on their end step. Another Empath. Okay. Do we expose the Growth Chamber? I think we do. I think it's fine. If they want to field this, that's fine with me. And if they don't, then I'm not planning on using the mana anyway, so I'll just pass it back to them and blow this explosives whenever it is convenient. Well, for me, at least. Not playing a 3-mana 1/1. That is not the plan. One thing that I don't like about Fierce Empath is this exact interaction here, because Amulet was already weak against Ashiok to begin with. And Fierce Empath certainly does not help with that. Do we want to blow explosives now? I guess not. If we pass and do it on their incept, we can guarantee there won't be an Ashiok in play for our Fierce Empath turn. And we can even play land and activate Garenbrig to be able to play both Empaths. They mill themselves again, probably looking for Uro. I will definitely be interested in bogging their graveyard away, especially since I see a Cryptic in there. Teferi Hero Dominaria. I mean, I don't love that, but there's not much I can do about that. They're probably leaving up Aether Gust as well. In response to this trigger, I'm going to blow the explosives for sure, so they can't have something crazy like a... I don't even know what they would have. I was thinking Cycle Nimble Obstructionist, but that costs 3 mana if I'm not mistaken, so... At least we got this Ashiok out of play. And we'll bog them. And we'll activate Garenbrig. And see if the first Empath is good. And it is. That's good for me. Yes. This one will get a Titan with, I guess. No reason to show them the Carnage Tyrant. They don't know that this second Empath isn't just going to get another Titan, so they might just be inclined to let this one resolve too. And then this one, we'll just go ahead and get him. Carnage Tyrant. And then we'll see where this takes us. Unfortunately, we did draw the Boros Garrison, which is a little annoying. Since we can play it before we play a Titan, we should be able to go ahead and haste here. If we want to play and haste a Titan. Beast Within is quite good, actually. Unfortunately, we can't both Beast Within and do one of these big slammy guys. So I don't know exactly what the best line of play is here. I already was worried about the fact that we might get blown out by Supreme Verdict, since right now our little 2 damage squad, I should say, is kind of holding the fort pretty well. If I slam a Carnage Tyrant into this board, then we're kind of just losing everything. But if I slam a Primeval Titan, then I'm losing the potential to chain more Titans afterwards. I think my plan is just going to be to Beast Within their Teferi on their instep, as weird as that seems. I don't know. Feels a little loose, but... yeah, it's definitely not my preference, but I think it's going to be the best sequence. This makes them have to interact with a Beast Within and a Titan over the course of this upcoming turn. Sure. Are you sure you don't want me to draw the 2 cards, opponent? I mean, it would be very generous, you know? This is not a terrible time to cast the Beast Within. We're walking into Force of Negation, and it doesn't force them to tap out at all. Nah, I'm just going to pass it back. Because the main thing we need them to do is to tap their mana. So after the Teferi untapped resolves, that's when I'm going to cast the Beast Within. I mean, they have access to Cryptic plus Archmage's Charm here. Which is pretty annoying. Excuse me, which is pretty annoying. Alright, and now we should go ahead and throw this out there. If they're smart, I think they probably just let this go, to be honest. It depends on what they have in their hand, but this doesn't seem that terribly threatening to me, the Beast Within. Because, like, if I were the control player, I'd just be like, I mean, it sucks, but I've already gotten my value out of it. I just let the Teferi bite the bullet. Interesting. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 if we activate Garenbrig. Because I really don't want to let this Teferi survive for another go-around. If I double strike a Fierce Empath, we're only getting 3 damage across, and it'll go to 2. So we actually have a 2-turn clock on the Teferi, but they're just getting so much card advantage out of it that it's, like, insane. It might be time to go ahead and cast this Carnage Tyrant. Probably not pre-combat, so we don't get Cryptic Tap. And then if they do tap out for a Verdict, I don't know, though, because they're not really tapping out for a Verdict. They would still have 5 mana up, possibly 6 if they play another land. So maybe jamming a Titan is better here. If only this were a Systemic Growth Chamber. That would be a lot more profitable for us. I mean, doing nothing doesn't feel great either. I think we've got to play the Carnage Tyrant. Feels awful, but... at least we know this one punches through the Cryptic that they're representing, so... and if we draw a green bounce, or any blue source, not any blue source, it would have to be a Simic Growth Chamber. If we do draw exactly Simic Growth Chamber, then we can transmute the Teferi West this upcoming turn. We don't have, like, a Pact Negation or anything defined, but I have to imagine this is a Supreme Verdict incoming. If not, then we got him real good, but... if they have to use a Cryptic to tap our team and draw during our turn, that would be pretty good for us. It would not be great if it was accompanied by a Mystic Sanctuary, but... we can preempt that by copying Bojuka Bog or just picking it up and replaying it. I have Time Raveler. Okay, that cannot bounce the Carnage Tyrant. I don't think they would want to bounce a Fierce Empath. Oh, they're just going to uptick. Oh man, now they have instant speed Supreme Verdict. Well, that really sucks. There's not much we can do to play around it. Beast Within is quite nice, actually. So what we're going to do here, we could play Garrison to represent double striking with the Sun Home. I don't know how relevant that is. It's relevant against Ice Fang Quaddle, so I'm going to go ahead and get it out there. I don't know if I want to pick up this Bajuka Bog or not. I think it's probably better to leave it in play. I don't know, though. Because if we cast a Titan, we're going to want to be able to bog away their graveyard, I think. But I could also just go ahead and Sun Home one of the Fierce Empaths now. Nah. Let's just pick up a redundant basic land, I suppose. No? I think it's going to be better to pick up the Bog. I'll pick up the Bog. This way we're representing Double Strike to get through Ice Fang Coatl. I think the plan is to send these two at Small Teferi and this guy at Big Teferi. This is the Cryptic Tap. No, Instant Speed Supreme Verdict. That's cool. Okay, so now, post-combat. 2, 3, 4. So we can do 1, 2, 3 Beast Within, and then be able to cast a Titan if the Beast Within does not resolve. Force that. Alright, well, we definitely need to get this Titan inbound, I think. Oh, wait. What is it gonna get, though? That's the question. We can get Ghost Quarter to prevent the Cryptic Loop. We have a T-West already in play. Field the Dead sounds like a good plan. I think Field and Ghost Quarter is going to set us up best. I think. It could also be Field and Slayer's Stronghold, so that if they answer our Titan, which I'm sure they will, we'll be able to haste the little tokens we get from Field the Dead's triggers, assuming they don't Field of Ruin it. I don't know, though. Could also be Simic Growth Chamber to pick up the Boros Garrison so we can then transmute Tolaria West, but I don't know how effective that's going to be. Because they'll probably just counter the Summoner's Pact. Rough spot. Rough spot. We could also get second Tolaria West and Bounce Land. I think Field of the Dead is probably better than that, so we're going to go with Field and Simic. I think this is the thing that sets us up the best. I'll pass it back. We are kind of just getting buried by this hero of Dominaria. Why didn't you Small Teferi to bounce my Primeval Titan? Duh. It's just such a good play. They have the Field of Ruin. Nasty. They could have, notably, tucked my Primeval Titan with Big Teferi and then shuffled it away, so I guess there was no reason particularly to search there, since we have all of our basics in play. I don't know. Obstinate Baloth, interesting. I think we probably want to get the Small Teferi out of here. I think bogging them is going to be good too. I'm going to lead on the bog, I suppose. Okay. Now attack Small Teferi. I haven't seen any Ice Fang Quaddle so far from them. Path. That is fine. Alright, so here's a Obstinate Baloth. I don't think it matters how we tap it. You can counter this one if you want to. Alright, we're passing back. We kind of just need them not to have the answers. Dryad is interesting. So we could transmute Talari West for Valakut, play Valakut, play Dryad into Garrison. No, play Dryad into the Valakut, and shoot something for 3. Doesn't really accomplish a whole lot, like the Time Raveler. I don't know. I think we play Dryad first, perhaps. Let's see how much mana we have access to. So we can activate Garenbrig using 1, 2, 3, 4, have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 6 of which is only for creatures. So we have 8. We'll actually have 13. So we can play Dryad and transmute and cast a Titan this turn. And I think that's going to be what we have to go for. I'm going to go ahead and play out the Garrison. Load a bunch of mana. We'll pick up the Talari West. We'll play... Oh, wait. Let's activate, I suppose, the Garenbrig. We'll play Dryad. Aether Gust. Okay. Guess we... It doesn't really matter, because we do need to... Well, if we put him on top and he resolves, then we'll have the blue to transmute Talari West. But I don't think we can guarantee that he's going to resolve. So I guess we bottom and just go ahead and transmute. 5, 6, yeah. We don't really have another choice. And I think this is the best turn to do it, since they don't have Snapcaster. They almost certainly have a Cryptic Command, though. We'll see. Force Negation. Alright. Well, we fought hard. I can't even blame them for having all the answers, because when you have an active Teferi hero, that kind of just happens naturally, so. It does suck, though. Man, in this match, we haven't even seen any Coatls, and we're still getting trashed by Bant. Grazer. No. I guess we will pass it back. This could be a meaningful threat if we top deck the Haste land. Oh, they put on card on top of our deck. That was a bounce land. We'll play it, I suppose. Pick up the Bog, and I guess we're going to go ahead and Bog them now so that they can't get back this Cryptic with a Mystic Sanctuary. which admittedly I have no clue whether they are actually playing or not. It would seem ridiculous for them not to play Mystic Sanctuary, but... They only have 13 cards left in deck. Yeah, there's no way we can win here. They've got a Jace and a 5-mana Teferi, so... They put a card on the bottom. I guess we might be able to clock this Jace for 2 more damage, but... all they have to do is 0 Jace and eliminate all of our permanents. Even if we get some semblance of... Oh my gosh, we top deck a Titan. Yeah, I guess it's go time. They will force them to have the answer, I suppose. This is not going to resolve. It's just not. Yep, there it is. Aether Gust. Okay, well, we'll put him on top, and this is minus 12, so we do still have 1 more turn, I suppose. What's the chance that they exile our Arboreal Grazer, do you think? But now they're going to exile probably our red-white source, and we're going to have no way to haste or they're going to exile a Simic Growth Chamber for whatever reason I don't understand. I don't know how many Talari Wests we've used so far. Guess this is everything. So we do still have a Talari West, but we were miles away from using that Growth Chamber. I don't know why that's the thing that they would choose. Another Teferi. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. And they're hitting everything but the Boros Garrison, which is quite unusual to me. There's a Titan. We are doing it again, y'all. If you do not at first succeed, try, and try again. Oh my goodness, it resolved. Alright, let's see what we can do here. They probably have a path. Interesting. So we can Simic Growth Chamber and Talari West and immediately transmute for and play something else. But I don't love that, and it also doesn't allow us to clock the Jace. So I think we do get the Stronghold. And I guess the other one doesn't really matter. I don't really want to expose anything else. It might be prudent to grab something that we don't want to draw from our deck. So I guess, like, Breeding Pool. Actually, I guess the highest upside here and our best chance of winning is that they actually just don't have a path to exile. That's never, ever going to happen. It's never going to happen. But in the hopes that they don't have path, I'm going to get Talari West. Because then when we attack, we can get 2 Simics and potentially be able to... The question is, do we haste the Titan or the Arboreal Grazer? I think it's got to be the Titan. No path yet. Here comes the path. No? A Cryptic Tap? Oh, Instant Speed Supreme Ray. Well, that's a lot less fun. Yep. We'll see if they choose to exile our red-white land or our stronghold. Which they continue to refuse to do, so... Guess as long as they're on that plan... Oh, that's right, they just Jace ult us. Alright. Good games, opponent. Oh man, I didn't realize that we had a game 3. Uh-oh. That's not great. Well, I'm just going to go back on the main plan of do our things as fast as possible and play around nothing. I think that's what the plan is going to be. So we want all of the Garen Briggs if that's the case. I don't know if there's a land that we could do without. We'll trim the Explorers, because those play way too slow a game. Ancient Stirrings helps find Amulet. Trim one Beast Within, because they could have Ashiok. We didn't see it in their entire deck that game, but they could have it. We'll trim a Fierce Empath. Azusa plays very well in a turbo-fast Amulet strategy. We don't need the Explosives, because they don't have any snakes, so... I totally thought that was the last game. Wow. Okay, do I want Balos? I think I don't. I might not want Carnage Tyrant either, to be honest. That does not attack immediately, so... Let's just go with the Explorer. Alright, we're back on the original plan. We're playing a game 1 here, just slightly different. Got a couple tireless trackers, too. How fast does this hand do it? We have a Cavern to force through, like an Azusa or something, but it's not that particularly fast. It doesn't have an opener with an Amulet. We can find an Amulet with a Stirrings. I'm gonna mulligan. This has a turn 2 Dryad and a Summoner's Pact. Yeah, we'll keep. We can get rid of the Stirrings, I suppose. We're going to go turn 1 Grazer into Vesuva, turn 2 Forest into Dryad, and see what we can make of our lines from there. So, there. Fierce Empath is not bad, actually. There's a Dryad, though. The Dryad's a little more important to resolve here. Explorer's not terrible. Let's hit them with this Dryad first. Things first. The question is, do we explore to find a land drop, or do we slam Fierce Empath? I think I'm more interested in getting this Explorer to resolve than I am in trying to bait out a counterspell with the Fierce. I think it's going to be better to force them to have a mana leak here. They do not seem to have it, so that's good for us. Although, I guess this doesn't particularly play around an Ashiok, but we can always Summoner's Pact in response to the Ashiok if that's what they're doing. And they do have Ice Fangs. Wow. Well, it's mana leak or bust. The question is, do we Summoner's Pact on their instep or no? I think that we don't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We could cast Fierce Empath, or we could go for the Pact. I'm gonna go for the Pact, I think. They didn't mana leak anything before, so if they have the Force Negation, they have it, in which case we'll play the Empath. And if they don't, then I'm just slamming Titan. I mean, there's also a potential to get Tracker here, but I'm not doing it. We don't play around anything. We're just a mindless combo deck at the moment. Aether Gust. We'll put that on top, I suppose. We'll play a Crumbling. And we'll swing with Dryad. Red. Do we want the land? I'm gonna say no. And this way, they have to Field Ruin us if they want to. Surgicaling my Summoner's Pact, huh? I guess this does shuffle our deck. They could have used Field to force shuffle, but... And we also have to pay for a pact on our next upkeep anyway, so it's not like we can Titan them this upcoming turn. Interesting. I hope they don't just Windmill Slam and Ashiok, because that would be pretty embarrassing. I mean, that is a good time to use Surgical, though, especially if you're going to hit Summoner's Pact, because we can't physically pay for 2 packs, so... And I mean, like I said before, we are playing around nothing. Nope. So if we had gone for Tracker instead of Titan there, it would not have mattered at all. So... that's a good thing to note, because the Aether Gust would have hit the Tracker just as well as the Titan. Alright, and we get a Titan off the top. They'd have to have another Mana Leak or Aether Gust. That's a Beast Within. I don't love that, sadly. Although, I don't hate the idea of Beast Withining our own land. We'll pick up Crumbling Vestige, I suppose. I guess we do this on their... Oh, wait, we can't do anything at instant speed because of Teferi, so... We also don't want them to just Teferi bounce our token? Huh. We want a Beast Within something, I guess. I mean, we can just wait. Waiting doesn't really gain us much. But we'll wait. Don't want to give them something to actually use their Teferi on, because if they want to draw a card here, they're going to have to do it the hard way. That's quite annoying. Oh, they bounced their Ice Bank bottle. Interesting. Now, oh, Ghost Court is a good one. Now I'm very interested in Beast Withining my own land here, because their Teferi can't bounce it anymore, so represents an actual threat. Although I guess they can just Aether Gust the Beast, but whatever. They also can just block it with their Death Touch Flyer, so there's that. Or they can path it. There's that also. No reason to search. We're holding up Ghost Quarter here for Mystic Sanctuary loops. And we know they still have the Aether Gust, so there's not much we can actually get done here. It's at times... No, I was going to say it's at times like these that I wish I had brought in the sideboard baddie. I forget what it's called. Carnage Tyrant. But even that can still be Aether Gusted, so... Not much we can do there. We'll play this and pass back. Yep. Bant matchup is not particularly good for us. So, obviously I'm not playing super carefully this game or anything, but this just goes to show that it doesn't matter whether you go for a slong and grindy game or whether you go for the fast, aggressive, all-in combo type plan. It's still... Bant is still able to handle both of those plans. Now, maybe I could have made my decisions a little less hastily and gotten a little better EV out of it, but I honestly think that it's just a rough matchup in the first place. I'm not sure that there's much that can really realistically be done about the Bant matchup. Although I suppose something like Veil of Summer might be alright, although it's not particularly good against specifically the Aether Gusts. Are they gonna Path our Grazer? That would be interesting. They will. Okay. Now let's not search. We'll play another Grazer, I guess. Holding on to this Crumbling Vestige, of course, because we can use it to make a blue mana that can help us transmute a Talari West if we happen to have need of that. Yeah, we've definitely lost here. There's no point in playing the rest of this out, so I'm gonna go ahead and sweep it up. Good games, opponent. Good games. Yeah, the Bant pairing is not a particularly favorable one for us, so... Well, I hate to say it, guys, but we are 1-3 with this build. I don't know if it's anything to do with the deck itself, or if it's just our pairings. I believe we got paired against Bant twice now, and like I said, I don't think that Bant is a good matchup. Yeah, I don't know. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think that there are changes that could be made to improve this list? I'm going to save / reserve my thoughts for the end of the league and the final match. So if you're looking for my evaluation on this deck list, then you can go ahead and find it there. But yeah, for now, I'm just going to call it the end of this video. If you like the content, any enjoyment that you got out of this video, express it in the form of a like, a comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you're here for crazy Amulet, or even just regular standard Amulet gameplay, then this is the place for you. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Anyways, this is Red Face Menace, signing off.